Hello again.
Hello.
Welcome to another Nerd Rant.
Looking forward to it.
This one is actually one that you requested, or someone of you requested, I don't know. And we found it quite fitting for the situation we found ourselves in within the last year, which is remote work organization, remote pipeline.
Yeah, working remotely is a big topic for some years now.
Yeah.
Even before the pandemic.
Yeah.
Because, of course, it sounds fantastic. Not only if you are going digital nomad and want to work from Marrakesh or I don't know.
From some beautiful sandy beach.
But in general, it's, of course, a nice idea to have a centralized pipeline that you can just dock into, sort of, where you can, if you want to onboard somebody new, you can just say, well, okay, everything is online, our entire workflow is there, and just connect to the network and you are on.
And then this pandemic hit, and so working remotely, working from home, of course, became another big topic. And now that we are slowly, I'm not saying that the pandemic is ending, but we are trying to get back to some more normalized life and lifestyle, and especially with you working as a professor in Nuremberg, which is like a 2-hour drive from Munich, and with me having been abroad a bit, the topic just is very, very current and very recent, I think.
Yeah, it's something we just have to deal with. I have to deal with it on a weekly basis because I'm working from Nuremberg, as you said, and I had different options, one of them being replicating my entire workflow, my entire PC landscape there.
Yeah.
But that's A, quite expensive, and B, not very practical because the data just stays here and I would have to put my data on an external hard drive or so and sync it up every time I travel there, which is every week.
So which already brings us to the first few interesting topics, and let's branch out from there later. A, your hardware landscape, so to speak, and then data and syncing data.
Yes, I think the entire topic of working remotely is only this big of a deal in our industry because data is so huge.
Yeah.
If you are doing websites, working remotely is a standard by now, I'd say. Or
I don't know.
Working in a workflow where you could work remotely. Like my brother, for example, he's a game developer for mobile games, mainly using Unity, and he is on his laptop for over 5 years now.
Mm-hmm.
He does not have a centralized workstation to work on.
Yeah.
But of course, and even at the university, for example, we are considering moving to a satelliting workflow where students could just take either their own laptop or just borrow one from the university and then just sit somewhere to work there and all the tools are online or in the cloud or in the network. But with our workflow, of course, it always we were always posed to big challenges regarding the data size because rendering easily gets huge and simulation data even more so.
Not only, I mean, when we're talking rendering, not only does the data get huge, but also the requirements from your computing power.
Exactly.
So that was my question. I mean, you are doing the CG part of the program. So do you see that satellite workflow using laptops happening for your part of the program?
Actually, for me, yes, because I'm teaching, it is possible to do that. I was considering different options. One option being replicating my setup there. The second option being using an eGPU. But I decided to go for a Razer laptop. I just looked the site up for a second. This is the Razer site, and most of you know these gaming laptops probably. And I went for the 17-inch version, that one here, which is really a nice machine, and it features a 3080 mobile graphics card. So that means I can do my rendering on this machine. It's of course not lighting fast, but it is okay.
Yeah.
And for demonstration purposes and for coming up with my setups or creating tutorials, it's just fine, even without an eGPU. And if performance is an issue, you can always connect the eGPU to it. The big advantage of having this laptop, for me at least, is that I don't have to bother with the data all the time. If I start working on something at home and I happen to have to go to Nuremberg, I just take all my data and the machine with me and have desktop level performance. It's a nice machine. But regarding ergonomics, it is still a laptop. So, of course, while being a huge screen for a laptop, 17 inch is not directly huge.
No.
And you don't have a number block on this particular model, at least.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go for an external one, but it's not as comfortable as working on a real machine, if I can put it that way.
Yeah.
That's why I stick to my computer, my desktop computer here at home. Nevertheless, it is working. And I think if you're going motion graphics or something like this, or even games, I mean, mobile games or not AAA stuff, I think you can get away with a machine like this.
So, I mean, I've got a Razer as well, and we are not sponsored by any means. We bought them out of our own pockets, just because mechanically and from the hardware, they feel decent, and they feel like a decent PC, or laptop, that is.
The build quality is really good for a PC manufacturer.
And I went the other route than you did. So I went with a rather small laptop because, in my opinion, a laptop has to be portable. So I went with a 13-inch model.
Mm-hmm.
And I plainly hate working on laptops. It doesn't matter if they're 17-inch, 15, or 13. I just plainly hate the ergonomics of it. And I also have to disagree. I don't think they give you desktop-level performance.
Depends on the desktop. Well, the 17-inch thing does, sort of. I mean, you are used to a PC a lot better equipped than mine.
Yeah.
So I'm probably just used to working slower.
Yeah.
But the i9 8-core that is working inside of this machine is decent. It's okay. Of course, it always can be better. And if I have the choice, I always go for desktop. That's for sure.
So which brings us to, we should talk about data sharing and centralized data storage or data exchange maybe. And also, which brings us to the fact that while I was working from abroad, I was using that laptop, tried to record Houdini 19 tutorials, and I ended up remoting into my desktop machine at home and just recording that.
Which is an option, obviously, if your connection is good enough.
If your connection is good enough.
But maybe let's start with data storage. Data storage is a big bottleneck, I think, because of course you have tools like Dropbox or Google Storage or iCloud, and they are nice and they provide plenty of room, but of course they are not the fastest, even with a decent internet connection. So in Germany, that means if I have a connection that has 100 Mbit down, it usually only has a fraction of it upstream.
Yeah, usually 10 or 15.
So we are not symmetric in Germany. I know in the UK and probably in the US this is different.
I think, symmetric connections are much more common there,
But nevertheless, it's never perfect. And solely relying on a remote storage is not necessarily the best idea if you're dealing with large simulation data, large render data, but sometimes that's the only thing that you can do.
I mean, I recently worked on a project with a team, and the remote data storage there via Dropbox, it worked.
Yeah?
Yeah. That was okay. You just let your computer sync overnight or just leave it on everywhere.
Well, it works. I use it for exterior to collaborate, but it works. It's just not as comfortable as just having a RAID where you can connect via cable.
Yeah, sure.
It just works. Because at iXponsor, for example, we had a centralized server and everybody was just working on this server. And connection was fast enough to just use it as a hard drive, sort of. That is, of course, the optimal case. And with Dropbox, I found the need to transfer the data to the local drive, then work from there, and then sync up the data later. At least with large data.
But I mean, Dropbox does that automatically for you.
It does it automatically, of course, but it has this delay in sync time.
Yeah, it depends, of course, on the data you're working with, on the exact data you're working with. But in general, yes.
It's feasible. You can do it. And if you don't want to go with Dropbox, as it is a paid option, there is Google Storage, of course, which provides you 16 gigs of storage for free, I think.
So much? Okay. I don't know.
I think 16. So that is at least a start if you quickly need storage. And then there is an excellent service of vTransfer. I want to mention this one because it saved my a lot of times. WeTransfer just allows you to transfer files up to 2 gigabytes for free between computers. So you just upload stuff there and put in an email address and it sends it to people. Often this is the easiest way to get data across the internet to somebody else.
Yeah, especially if it's just like one package of data, like for a client or for a freelancer you're working with.
Yeah, exactly. And if you like it, then if you're using it on a regular basis, you can even subscribe, pay a little fee, and then transfer even bigger data. But it's not an online storage, it is for transferring data. So it's sort of the big data email service, sort of. So that means having a laptop, having an online storage solution puts you in a place where you can work online. But there is this big topic of managing the team, talking to the colleagues and to your lead and everything. What comes to my mind regarding this? Well, we did this at iXponsor a lot in the past because we used to work with freelancers from all around the world.
Yeah.
And there is, of course, all the video chat solutions that are necessary to talk to people. Like everybody knows this by now: Zoom, Teams, Skype, Meet, whatever. I think there's not that much of a difference between them. Me personally, I like to use Zoom. I find it to be stable, but that's probably just because I'm used to it. It's pretty much the same. So you will need one of these solutions to talk to people, and then probably you want a solution, as you said, to log into your remote machine.
Yes.
And you did this when you were abroad currently, right?
Yes. So the issue there was we rented a holiday flat. I don't know if it was an Airbnb or whatever. Just in those ads, they list if you have Wi-Fi. And I mean, all of them come with Wi-Fi. They just don't specify the up and down speed, which would be really brilliant if you could search a flat by up and download.
Feature request to Airbnb. Please make searches for Wi-Fi speed, not only if Wi-Fi is present.
Because what we ended up with was an asymmetric wire, which gave us 10 Mbit down and 800 kilobits up.
Oh, that sounds fantastic.
That is pleasant. So it is, I mean, I was surprised how well the remote solution I ended up using held up to that.
Mm-hmm.
But still, it felt a bit laggy here and there, and you could see the compression struggling. But overall, even with that kind of wimpy internet connection, it worked. And what I used was Parsec. Which is
this one here.
Yes, which is a service originally created to stream games, although here they demonstrated with actually what we used, or not the same tool, but with a 3D tool.
Yeah, Cinema 3D this is.
Yes, exactly.
Parsec.
Yes.
Interesting. I never used it. And how did it feel? Did it work?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it ended up saving my butt, to be honest, because I used that to just remote into my desktop and record.
Oh, funny. I'm just reading that Parsec is now part of Unity.
I didn't know that.
Hello.
Welcome.
Welcome, Unity. Well, great. I mean, before Parsec, because I didn't hear of it before you told me, we used to use TeamViewer. I think everybody knows that one. And although it's working really excellently, it's quite costly. For professional purposes. Yeah. And then there is an alternative that works quite well too, just to mention it quickly, and this is called AnyDesk. And if I'm not mistaken, I think AnyDesk, the founder of AnyDesk, is one of the former TeamViewer developers.
Okay, I don't know.
I don't know. But this works quite nicely too. So that is another option if you don't want to go the laptop route, or at least if you don't want to have a very beefy laptop with you, but a small one, a portable one. You always can connect to the machine at home and work there remotely. Yeah. And that is not the worst idea, probably.
If it wouldn't be for the ergonomics of a laptop, I'd agree. I just plainly hate working on a laptop.
Well, you can just travel with a satellite standalone computer with a big screen and a real keyboard.
You could also just use an external keyboard with a laptop, travel with that. And yes, of course, you could do a small build like a mini ITX machine that you lug around. Yes, all absolutely imaginable, yes.
Yeah, but sometimes it just saves you to be able to log into home and work there.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Well, if you organized all of that, Either have a beefy machine with you or logging into your machine at home with a hopefully fast enough internet connection. Then there is this issue of talking to your colleagues. And we already mentioned Zoom and Teams and stuff like that. But when I was working remotely with teams larger than, say, 10 people, it quickly gets very hard to manage the information flow. To keep everybody on the same page is not that easy. Because if you're working in an office, it's just a matter of just stopping by, yelling, I don't know, giving words of advice and stuff, you know. But online, that is, of course, not possible, especially if people are in different time zones. So to me, it was crucial to have some sort of online management software. And what we used at iXponsor is called Basecamp. It's one of the dinosaurs of the field. And that's team communication, sort of. So it's a mixture between a wiki and a chat client. So you can chat there. And I don't like it too much. I think it's quite...
I personally hate it.
You hate it? Yeah. It's just that we used it at iXponsor because it is cheap compared to the others. Because they are charging on a monthly fee.
Per user.
Not per user.
I mean,
that is a big difference.
So Slack charges.
Slack and the others charge per user, and Basecamp does not charge per user, which is the big difference. That's why we used it, and it's not as terrible as you think it is.
It is.
So Mo hates it really desperately.
I mean, I don't like the structure of it. It hides. It tries to structure your work and your work communication, and it just does that really inefficiently.
Yeah, that's true. Agreed. Nevertheless, you can post information pages that are hard to find, but you can post them. You can chat to people. You can put to-do lists up. You have a file storage remotely, and it's hosted by Basecamp, so you don't have to host it yourself. So it's a working solution that is quite competitively priced.
I could agree, yeah.
But there are better solutions, if you ask me. And one that stirred up quite a bit of excitement 2 years ago or so is called Notion. That is very similar. It's, again, a mixture of a wiki with different tools like a Kanban board and different ways to present your information. And the good thing about Notion is this even works if you want to just organize yourself, because the personal tier is free.
Okay.
So you can just download it and start using it. A lot of people like it.
Is that standalone then?
That's it's online.
Okay.
It's syncing your data.
Okay.
But let me look it up. If you go to pricing, you can see the free tier gives 5 guests access to the data. So it's not actually good for larger teams, but it's free at least. But if you go for a team, then you have to pay $8 per user per month. But then you can share your data with everybody Pixar is using it. Look. And this is actually nice. It's a nice piece of software that is presenting the information in a way that is easy to grasp. Okay. And it's nice to have that. Cool. Something like this is necessary. And then there are, of course, a lot of different software products that try to find a solution to this problem. Yeah. One that comes to my mind is Confluence, which is just a wiki. Okay. The ancient piece of software. A lot of companies are using it. I don't know. The choice is yours. It's just, I think, some sort of software in this realm is a big plus to manage team project or so. Yeah. So even investing in something like this is probably a good idea.
Where would you place the other ones we talked about, such as Slack or maybe?
Well, Slack is sort of Slack. Everybody knows Slack, right? So it's just team communication. It's an online chat basically where you can share files, and I like it a lot because it's very slick and it runs nicely on mobile. It's beautiful. It's fast. It's just really expensive. Yeah. Because they charge per user, and I always found it to be too expensive. They, of course, have a free tier. Again, you can check this out, but I think they are not providing enough features for the price. That's just my opinion. That's why we went with Discord, which is pretty similar. Comes from the games realm too, which is just chatting. And this is completely for free. You can exchange data and stuff. So this is excellent if you want to have a channel where the team can just exchange information quickly. And we always use something like this with our sponsor projects. And we do it all the time, but the two of us, we are just using Skype for that, just because it's
so easy, and we are kind of old, so old school.
Well, to be honest, we are using a mixture between Skype and Signal, which is
Signal
WhatsApp,
is really nice as well.
Replacement.
Because it's open source, it's encrypted. Loving Signal.
Signal is really something I want to advertise because it's for free, it's open source, and it does everything that WhatsApp does, but in blue. But it's secure, and Zuck is not reading your messages anymore. So I really like it.
It's a really good piece of software.
Yeah. And then there's, so if you are collaborating online, this is all nice and fancy. So if you are the team lead, you can just provide information for people, put it online, be it with Confluence or Basecamp or Notion, and everybody has access to the briefing documents, to textures, I don't know. You name it, everything that is small, like images, text, everything can go in there. And the large files like models, cut data and stuff goes to an online exchange drive. And then I just wanted to mention one more thing that I find very, very helpful for collaboration, and that is the Miro board. I mean, there is different board software, but I particularly like this one. I use it with my students a lot. So if you create a new board here, and that is all online, then you have access to a drawing space where you can just draft ideas like putting a box down or a little sticky note and write your idea here. And you can do quick layouts between stuff, can even draw connection errors between individual things. It's really nice, quick and easy. And the good thing is it's collaborative. Everybody can work on the same board at the same time. So you actually get to see the cursors of other people contributing. And that is actually fantastic for, I don't know, brainstorming, coming up with an idea or whatever. So I personally really like this tool a lot. It's a little costly too, but they start with a free tier, I think, that gives you 3 boards or so. Give it a try, probably. I mean, the entire online collaboration software is a vast field. So this is the titles that I found to be of some good use to online collaboration.
To kind of round this up, are you happy with your setup that you are running now? Do you think you found the solution for your needs?
I really think I found the best solution for my current situation. I mean, I have to mention that I not only have this Razer laptop, but I'm traveling with another MacBook Pro. Just because of the lectures and stuff. I really don't like the Microsoft products. That's why I'm using Keynote for my presentations and numbers for my tables. And I really prefer macOS over Windows regarding productivity, daily productivity. And that is why I'm using 2 laptops. It's not that cumbersome because I'm just traveling between Munich and Nuremberg. So I have no need for schlepping around the laptop everywhere. So that works. And I think for me, it's a very good solution. For me, this really works. So at the moment, without big collaborative projects, that means, just to outline this again, if the two of us, if we are collaborating, which we do all the time, me being in Nuremberg, you being in Munich, then that means I have my laptop with me and my Mac laptop with me. And that is, by the way, having 2 laptops at the remote place is something I particularly like because I often do stuff where I have to copy data from source to target. Like if I'm preparing a lecture or something, I'm reading a book and then I want to put the information into the presentation.
Yeah.
And that's why I particularly enjoy to have two separate computers where I can read the book on one computer and write on the other computer without having to switch all the time.
Yeah.
And of course, you can split your screen and you have a second screen and all that is possible. For me, it works having two computers. And then we are using WeTransfer and Google Drive a lot. I'm using iCloud Drive a lot. And we are communicating through Skype and Signal.
Yeah.
That's how we are communicating online. But it's only the two of us. So that is a little bit of a different situation, because if I drop you a piece of information over Skype, you get it and
everyone
you see
in
it.
the team
and
sees it.
Yeah, exactly. So no big need for storing information for later.
Yeah, that's right.
That's why we do not have a Notion installation or something like
Or
that.
Basecamp.
But talking about it, maybe we should try it out. I mean, at least for the two of us, it would be free.
Basecamp.
No, Notion.
Okay, yeah, we can try that out. I'm open for that.
Just for, where did you put the to-do list from last week?
Yeah, where did that intro preset go? Yada, yada.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that is working remotely. I really think in this particular case, it is about the tools.
In a way, just as a closing thought, I was thinking about that when I was abroad and working from a laptop. Under given circumstances, you're almost at this position now, almost, not totally, at the position where graphic design arrived 10 years ago, where every graphic designer could just work from a laptop. And with tools such as, for example, 3D Light, which gives you very fast remote rendering, I think, except for the simulation times that we sometimes have in Houdini, we are almost at the point where we could do 3D and our work purely on a laptop with a connection to a cloud.
Yeah, I think this will be the future. The future will be terminal.
Yeah.
So
the future will be the past.
Computers go where they came from.
Beautiful. Just with your
Do you think they will turn beige again?
I hope they will install ashtrays into the terminals again.
Fantastic.
And with that thought, I think it's time we'd say goodbye before this escalates further.
Yeah. Thank you, Mo.
Thanks, Manu. And to you guys, as always, it is cheers.
And goodbye.